It's your man Jay Graves Report, and welcome to the College Football Weekly Preview Week 4. Y'all know how we get it in, so let's get it in. Previewing the top 5 ball games of the weekend, so let's get right to it. Now, I know you boys see I'm not at the crib. It's college football weekend. It's football season 4 weeks in. I could be anywhere. So, I'm doing my thing. Don't worry about where I am. Just check out all this information I'm about to give you. Now, let's go in the first ball game. We got number 3. Louisville going out to play the Marshall Thunder and Herd. Well, we just call them the Hurrying Ponies. The only reason this ball game pops up on the list, bruh, is because everybody's got their eye on number 3, Louisville. Louisville jumped out the gate on these boys. They averaging 65 points a game, putting up 679 yards a game. They put 63 points on number 2 Florida State, then number 2 Florida State. That's like I always talk about. We shouldn't even be ranking boys at the beginning of the season. Not until 4 games in should you be ranking people. Because Florida State obviously wasn't the number 2 team in the country, or are these boys just that good? Now, Lamar Jackson has put up 18 touchdowns so far. 18 in the first 3 weeks. So we got to keep our eye on them. This could be a trap game for Louisville because they playing on the road. They playing Marshall, which is 1-1. They're not very good. They beat Morgan State 62-0, and then they lost to Akron last week, gave up 65 points to Akron. So they should not be in this ball game. They ought to put up 70 points on Marshall. But because they playing they Louisville, they're not accustomed to being at the point where they should be winning ball games like this, doing these things. Everybody on campus going crazy. They got everybody, ESPN, Fox, everybody hanging out with them. So these boys can fall apart. So I got these boys on the radar screen. Louisville should win this ball game. Should be over in the first quarter. But we going to see if they show up and don't fall into the trap. Let's go to the next ball game. We got Oklahoma State coming into this ball game playing number 16 Baylor. Now, Baylor's coming in undefeated, averaging 44 points a game, putting up 557 yards a game. Oklahoma State on the other end is 2-1. They went dull a couple of weeks ago. They lost to Central Michigan because they got an extra play at the end of the game. And everybody in Oklahoma State fired up, all pissed off because they got an extra play. First of all, they shouldn't even been in the ball game. We shouldn't even have this conversation. So let's keep it real. Now, there's a botch play. They bounced back last week and beat Pitt. Now, what we gonna do? Here's the deal. Baylor is 3-0, but Baylor really ain't played nobody. Baylor played Northwestern State, SMU, and Rice. So they, from an offensive standpoint, they're putting up 557 yards a game, which is 4th in the Big 12, 8th nationally. But do we really think that they're that good? They 3rd-ranked defense in the country, but they haven't played anybody. I just believe that Oklahoma State, because they've come out of losing that ball game to Central Michigan, they got Mason Rudolph, who put up 540 yards last week, a school record 20 yards per completion, is going to come out hungry on the road at McLean Stadium and beat these boys from Baylor. And as long as they keep old Art Browse out the stadium and all them duns out there that can't control themselves, I mean, Baylor just about to become Baylor all over again. In the next couple of years, they're going to be down there with Rice and all them other cats from the old Southwestern Conference. They're going to be dull again. Don't even worry about them. Let's move on to the next ball game. We got number 22, Georgia. Goes out to play number 23, Ole Miss at Vaught Hemingway Stadium. Now, here's the deal. Ole Miss coming into this ball game after blowing a 21-point lead last week over Alabama. These boys had Alabama on the road, bleeding from the mouth. And all of a sudden they fall apart, lose the ball game. It's because they put on the doggone, they pulled what's your boy name? They put the gas mask on and lost this ball game. I mean, the problem is they keep squandering leads. They played Florida State the first game of the season and lost a 22-point lead, lost that ball game. So these guys are 1-2 after, in the 2 ball games they lost, they squandered 20-plus point leads. Now, on the other side, you got Georgia coming into this ball game with Kirby Smart, first-year coach. They've been dull the first 3 games. Even though they undefeated, they had to come from behind against Nicholas State. Then they came from behind against North Carolina, and then Mizzou last week. So which one of these teams going to show up and play 60 minutes? I just believe because they playing at the crib, Ole Miss ought to be able to win this ball game simply because they got the talent and Chad Kelly. Chad Kelly is the real deal. So we shouldn't even worry about anybody else. As long as they keep the gas mask out the stadium, they're going to be fine. Let's move on to the next ball game. We got number 11, Wisconsin, goes out to play number 8, Michigan State. Now, both these boys come in undefeated. Here's the crazy thing about it. They haven't played this ball game in 4 years. Even though they both in the Big Ten, they haven't played this ball game in 4 years because of the unbalanced schedules. Everybody got the conference championship games. Everybody don't play each other. So they haven't played since 2011 into the season when Wisconsin end up beating Michigan State for the Big Ten championship when Russell Wilson was there. But Wisconsin coming in averaging 31 points a game, putting up 441 a game. And Michigan State's averaging 32 points a game, putting up 431. So the offenses are pretty much the same. But this is a huge ball game for Michigan State playing at the crib, coming off of a huge win last week. Great win against Notre Dame. So I'm going with Michigan State to win this ball game at the crib. And let's move on to the next ball game. Now, we got number 19, Florida, goes down to play number 14, Tennessee. Now, here's the deal. Florida comes in averaging 33 points a game, putting up 466 a game. Tennessee at Rocky Top, averaging 31 points a game, putting up 351. Butch Jones got these boys rolling. Now, I know you heard me say that a million times. Butch Jones got these boys rolling, and they go out there and lay an egg. Go out there and fall apart. But, hey, Joshua Dobbs is the real deal. These boys 3-0. This year is going to be the telltale as to whether they actually can win the SEC East. If they don't win it this year, they're going to be in trouble for about 3 or 4 years because you got a senior quarterback with crazy leadership ability, and he's been on the field forever. Seems like he's been there forever. If they can't win this year, they're going to be dull. Listen to what I'm saying. But you got Florida coming into this ball game and won 12 straight against these boys. So, and they won 3 of these ball games, won by 1 point, like they did last year, 28-27, beat these boys down in the swamp. So here's the deal. Can Tennessee overcome the mind game that is, we ain't beat these boys in 12 years? Are we gonna go in there and just lay down and let these boys beat us? Or are we gonna play ball? I just believe the problem lies in the fact that there's a senior quarterback at Florida, Austin Appleby, transferred from Purdue. Only started 4 games at Purdue last year because he graduated, so now he can come in to Florida and play without having to sit out. He only played 4 games, started 4 games at Purdue. But this ain't the Big Ten, bro. This the SEC. You're not about to walk in here, play in front of 108,000, and you only started 4 games at Purdue, and they only that stadium only hold like 59,000 at Purdue. You gonna almost double the capacity on the boy and think he gonna go in there and win? Not gonna happen, bro. Tennessee wins this ball game, gets over the hump, and will be in a position to actually win the SEC East if they get through these boys. It's your man, Jay Graves Report from TheJayGravesReport.com, and you can hit me up on Twitter at JayGravesReport so you can holler at your boy. Now, y'all figure out where I am. It's college football season, bro. I'll let you know in the recap.